October is over. November is here. Well, should I say Movember? We're not talking about cows.
Already?
We're talking, guys, this is just, I didn't make these words up, all right? It's on Twitter. Anyways, will November bring a big breakout for Bitcoin? Also, we have an update on Solana. The Fed rate decision is in, and much, much more on today's episode of Sin City Crypto. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts, and today, like every single weekday, we're coming at you live from our studio in Las Vegas, Nevada. Before we get into any other content or get any further, I would like to introduce you to your other host, Big Rob.
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take old, boring, and, well, stale information and we package that thing up in a fun and sexy Las Vegas kind of way. Is November the 40K, the 50K, or the 60K Bitcoin? Which one?
90. Oh, bless you. You know, Indie Rock has a point. It's printer go November. Cry me a river, Robin. Anyways, Rob, let's start right here, man. Let's just get this out of the way, bro. Are you surprised? Halt the markets. Stop the show. The Fed has suspended rate hikes. Robin?
Wow.
Are you surprised by this?
You know, I think this is now decoupled from any interest in crypto, right?
What is it? What do you mean by that?
Do you personally,
Of course,
I hold any weight to the pause and
I
decision? You knew it was.
It
matters, gonna be
but
zero.
it matters.
It was gonna be a pause.
Yes.
You knew it was gonna be a pause. I knew it was gonna be a pause.
I knew it. I knew it before.
Anybody that has followed this without some wild conspiracy theory knew it was gonna be a pause. And we also knew that the pause was not gonna move the markets at all.
It's still early, bro.
You think it's gonna shake the markets up?
No.
Bitcoin is up 0.1% right
Yeah, it's
now. Okay.
pumping, dude.
There we go. What's the club limit today?
188.
88.
Yeah.
180.
Well,
How
what
about
kind of
just
numbers?
180? Why are we going
188?
up?
Because I
We
was
haven't-
born.
we-
I was born in 1988.
Nobody cares. 180 likes.
Actually, I know at
180
least
likes.
6 people that
The
care.
last time we opened it up was 175. So at 180, we'll open up the club. We're at 36 likes. Why?
You know, yesterday's Halloween show was interesting.
No, yeah.
I liked your Vitalik costume. Thought that was pretty good. What do you think about Sailor? Was it good?
It was all right. It was good.
Wow. Thank you.
Was it
Before we go any further, we do like to thank our channel sponsor. Today's 4K stream is brought to you by Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how they can help maximize your networking, IT, and your cybersecurity, they are our go-to company when we have any issues with anything I just mentioned. And so if you want the same customer service, the same service in general, visit bluewiretech.com, or there's a link in the description of this video. Now, speaking of videos, let's jump right into some funny videos. Now, yesterday, Rob, was Halloween. Well, a lot of people dress up, and I'm sure you guys have all seen this, but, you get our reaction to this. So this is a young man dressed up as Joe Biden, and his friends dressed up as the Secret Service, and, well, they decided to go trick-or-treating.
Mr. President, please. It's one step, Mr. President. Yes, good job.
For some reason, I thought a dog was just gonna come by and bite him.
This way.
Yay, he made it up the stairs. Yay.
I thought a dog was gonna come up and bite
That's funny.
Secret Service agents.
That is funny.
You
Funny,
know
but
what?
it's not funny, but it's fun.
One of my buddies, well, we're not really like close friends, but we went to high school together. He's a good guy. His name is Chris. He works in makeup and special effects for like movies and stuff. And so I hit him about a month ago. I wanted to do a Joe Biden thing, but it was pretty complicated. It was a little pricey too. So this would have been me.
Next Halloween.
But
Old and mumbling.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Also, we have this. Dogs are the best, man. Better than birds, better than cats.
Dog playing like Street Fighter? What's going on?
It's like leverage traders. That's a Shiba Inu dog, too.
You know what I love most is he has a shirt. It's the Freddy Krueger shirt. It's like
It's a what shirt?
it's the Freddy Krueger. You know?
No, that's
Yeah.
the
No, it's not.
the Hugh Hefner.
Oh, it's
That's definitely the Hugh Hefner.
silk robe, shall we call it? We also have this now.
No.
Rob, here we have a guy standing there, and obviously we can assume that someone behind standing gonna throw and try to hit between the fingers and hit a bullseye. What do you think happened?
It's bull in the
This
eyes.
is why you don't. This is why men don't live as long as women do.
I can confirm.
I can watch.
Well, let's find out what
I can
actually.
watch. I can't.
Come on, Rocco, you have to.
No, I can't.
Part of the show, man. Come on.
Because in his eye, I can't. I can't watch.
It's in his head. It's in your forehead.
Oh my
Take it out of your
god!
forehead.
I told you, man. That is it.
You said I, okay?
Bull eye.
Aye, Captain.
The funny part is that he doesn't even realize he got hit. Doesn't even react.
Probably doesn't realize he's dead.
Rocco, do you?
Not
Rocco,
live. Yeah,
Rob, what do you think about?
it's
Dude,
wrong already. There's something wrong already.
so how this is human bowling, and all we got to do is get some ladies to stand there.
I
You
don't
down
know.
or what?
You know, I'm gonna be. I'll just say this. I'm glad you warmed up this episode, this skit with the last one.
Why is that?
It's like when you have a mediocre comedian, but the opening act is like fire and he gets you laughing.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying like,
You saying I'm
clip,
mediocre?
clip is meh, but it got me. It entertained me because I'm still laughing from the one before.
So here's a sign. No peeing backwards, and says, "Hey, man, anyone who could do this should be allowed to." It's have you ever tried something like this? Don't answer that question. We do have this piece of news. Your Raiders, Robin. You and of course Brokioshi. I've said Brokioshi's my favorite name. I love Brokioshi. Amazing person. We met him down in Georgia. So the Raiders have fired Josh McDaniels, their head coach, and David Ziegler, who's the GM. After much thought about what the Raiders need to move forward, I have decided to part ways with Josh and Dave. I want to thank them both for their hard work, even though he only lasted 3 weeks. But did you hear how it happened, Robin?
No, I did not.
Apparently, the last straw was when McDaniels, who was well known around the league as a guy who goes all out for Halloween, came to the Raiders facility dressed as Mark Davis the day after losing to the Lions on Monday Night Football. Davis seemed to take it in stride at first. He appeared to laugh and even ordered his now trademark P.F. Chang's lunch delivered to Coach McDaniels to complete the look. After the two had eaten, Davis suggested the coach read his fortune cookie, which read, "You're fired, hotshot." It's kind of messed up, right?
Yeah.
For you to go out of your way to get a special fortune cookie that says you're fired, it's kind of messed up. That's why the Raiders are garbage.
You know what?
Organization is garbage.
Here in Las Vegas, everything has to be a spectacle and a show. Instant City Crypto, if one of us fired the other person, I don't know how that would work, but if we did, I'm sure it would be very entertaining, right?
Would it?
Would be from my end.
Let's try it out. You're fired.
Did you watch the Joe Rogan and Elon Musk? That's a good watch. First of all, they talk about Sam Bankman-Fried, and they talk about his mugshot. Have you seen
The mugshot or the courtroom?
the courtroom drawing? Have you seen the newest one?
The one where they made him look like a Beverly Hills 90210
Yeah.
movie star?
He
Yeah.
looked-
Well, the trial is coming to a close. They just did their final, not statements, but I forget the exact lingo for it is, but their final statements and wrapping up the court case here. So we should see probably next week, or who the hell am I kidding? I'm not a damn lawyer. I don't know. Soon, I'm assuming we're going to get a verdict on Sam going to go to jail for 8 years and satisfy Rob, or is he going to go to jail for life because he ruined people's lives? Anyways, we're not going to get into that conversation.
Yeah, let's not do that today.
Don't do that.
Anyway, where I was getting at is on the show they ate a pizza. They got pizza delivered because they're Rogan was hyping up his favorite pizza, so they just went ahead and YOLO'd and ordered it. And they ordered a double pineapple and double anchovy pizza, just straight marinara cheese,
Disgusting.
extra pineapple, extra anchovy. I want to know, Rocco, do either one of those ingredients have a pass? I mean,
No.
Anchovies, yes.
Okay, I was gonna say,
Pineapple still is a taboo.
Anchovies?
In a pizza, yes.
Anchovies are disgusting.
okay, I'll say
No,
this.
because probably you eat the anchovies from the
Yeah, I know where you're going at. So the nasty anchovies are the ones that are like super salty and thin.
no, terrible.
The Spanish anchovies.
Oh.
They're called
Oh, my
bocarones.
Lord, man, you can
Bocarones,
get
the white
some
anchovies, they're delicious.
Oh man, those things are so good. They're
All
expensive.
right, weirdos.
Do you get,
They're
like, the good ones?
expensive. They're
Yeah.
You
good.
guys are weird.
But the ones that you get at the pizza shop are usually this cheap canned BS.
Super salty, terrible.
Yeah, no, that's nasty.
That's the recipe.
Pineapple belongs on pizza. I don't care what you say.
I'm not the greatest hater on it. Not my go-to. I think there's a place for
Bro,
it.
you literally bought me for my birthday last year a barbecue chicken pizza with pineapple, and you ate more slices than I did. You ate 3 slices.
That's true, but it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have the footage
I did,
somewhere.
I did.
You remember that, Rocco,
I
right?
did.
I'm not talking out of my you know what.
No.
Speaking of you know what's, you know what Gary Gensler did? Well, finally we can applaud him for something he did. Rocco, can we get a round of applause for Gary Gensler?
A short one, though.
For sure. That's all. Yep, that's stop. Okay. So you guys know about SafeMoon, right? Rob, you know about SafeMoon, right? It was pretty popular last bull market.
How safe is it?
It's not very safe, and it actually crash landed. Didn't get to the moon. Crash landed down to Earth. So CoffeeZilla did a docuseries on this, where he exposed the founder, the team, what they were doing, shady stuff going on, and well, they're finally being charged. SEC charges SafeMoon crypto token and its executives with fraud. Now, Rob, we always badmouth Gary Gensler in the SEC, right? But are we in agreement that stuff like this we should be cheering for, right? Or are you in the camp of leave everything alone because you start walking this line, then it's easy to veer off one way or the other. Then you start targeting tokens and projects.
You got to have accountability, right? No, during the last bull market, nobody that has been in crypto for a while truly appreciated meme coins, right? We weren't like, oh, thank God, yes, let's get more of those. About another 1,000 meme coins.
Some people
Like, no, but the diehard true crypto people that believe in the vision and believe in the space and the technology and what it's going to do, and I'm not talking about people that just believe in making money quickly. Like, I'm talking about people that understand, people that see what it's worth, the value of crypto and value of the fiat system and what that's doing. And hey, so there has to be accountability. And anything that's a mature market, especially anything that's involved in finance, needs to have checks and balances. We could sit here and hang our hat on Bitcoin and say this is decentralized. It needs zero regulation, zero oversight, zero accountability. Just leave it alone. There's nothing to look at here. Sure, but even with Bitcoin, you have the custodial agents that use it. You have all kinds of different marketing people that
but Rob, there's a difference between regulating and going after the centralized entities and then trying to regulate it.
Holding people accountable. Do you think that SafeMoon was a legit project?
No.
Then they're being held accountable. Now, are there other instances where the SEC has overstepped their reach or authority, been unreasonable, left expectations that could not be met? Absolutely. I'm not sitting here saying that the SEC is good for our industry and they can do no wrong. I'm just saying that, hey, there are going to be instances where people act up or not operating a business in a trustworthy manner, and they're defrauding people. Those people should be held accountable. And well, who else is going to do it? The SEC is obviously the branch of government that would enforce that. It's not going to be, the LAPD. It's not going to be the FBI. It's either the Justice Department or it's the SEC or the Treasury or the CFTC. Going to be the only people that really regulate finance. And so, good. SafeMoon was a scam.
Did you buy any SafeMoon?
No. I did buy some speculative stuff just because I saw the trend. I saw where the markets were going. Made some money, but I did not partake in SafeMoon.
I want to know what the chat thinks. Do you guys support the SEC going after projects like SafeMoon, who are obvious scams? Put a 1 for yes, put a 2 for no. Curious to see what the chat thinks. Now, I do want to share this. So, taking a look at the monthly return. So, we had the second best October since 2017, coming in at 28.5% in the green, only to be outdone by 2021, where we saw a 40% rise in the price of Bitcoin in the month of October. Now, moving into November, or as some call it, Movember.
Stop it.
That's what they're calling it. I didn't pick those words, okay? Movember, all right? Because we moving back. So, we're first day in, we're down. We're down bad, guys.
So 0.7. Yeah. Here, my question is, in today's thumbnail, if you didn't see it before you clicked, was
I didn't see it.
100% gains on November. And
So you think November we're gonna double?
So here's the thing, and obviously without any black swan event, without any major catalyst, 100%'s not necessarily likely. I think it's highly unlikely, right? I mean, you look at the numbers there on that chart. You don't see 100% anywhere. But I think you know why my thesis of 100% is in play.
It involve 3 letters.
It does involve 2 times 3 letters. Big Rob. Thank you. Hit the like button.
You're gonna market buy
Thank
all
you.
the spot ETF
Yes,
or
right.
spot Bitcoin? He's talking about the ETF, guys. So it's
You don't think that we cross all time highs with the ETF
oh, we do. I do.
in the span of 1 month?
I do believe that's very possible. Yes.
I see. That's the thing. Is it? I still think with the ETF, we probably don't cross all time highs, but I think there's a legit chance. I would say something around like 20%. Like if the ETF passed today, while we're doing the show, I think with the full month.
If ETF passes today, Bitcoin's over 40K.
Yeah. Now, does it get over 68,000 in a month? I think there's a chance. I'd say there's a 20% chance if the ETF passed. But I still think it's more likely, even if the ETF passes, that we don't go quite that high.
Here's an interesting observation. So a lot of these mining companies, right, that are publicly traded, obviously we understand that publicly traded companies, they raise money by issuing new shares or people buying shares, and then that pushes up the stock price. And then the founders who have some of their shares, they cash out and raise money, have money. Some of the miners are worried that with a spot ETF, that money that would have maybe gone into these Bitcoin mining company stocks, buying these stocks, is going to go into a spot ETF now. Because up until the ETF gets approved, the only institutional, traditional way of getting exposure to Bitcoin is either spot buying and custodying yourself or finding a custodian, which we know the institutions weren't really happy doing. Along with that, they wanted the legal clarity that the SEC signed off on Bitcoin being a commodity. 2 is now that they have the ability to get the direct exposure, why would they buy something like MicroStrategy? Why would they buy something like Riot stock, right? Riot, Marathon, CleanSpark, whatever the case may be. So is that a concern for you, Rob? That money being diverted away from these mining companies where they use that money to expand, to grow, to upgrade equipment. Now, let's say 20, 30, 40% of that money gets diverted to a spot ETF. I mean, do you see an issue there?
That must be the dumbest thesis I've ever heard. First of all, number one, the first one here is that if they don't sell directly to the exchanges and they're selling to an institution, they're leaving money on the table. It doesn't matter who they sell it to. They're going to sell it at market price regardless. And whether it's to JP Morgan Chase, BlackRock, Bank of America, it's still going to sell for damn near close to the market price.
Are we talking about this? We're talking about Bitcoin?
Bitcoin itself.
Okay.
So that was your first take, was that they're not selling their Bitcoin.
Thing for institutions, right? They're waiting for a spot ETF for many reasons, right?
Yeah. And the first one being.
First one was they've proven they don't really want to buy on the spot market without the traditional rails in place and without the legal clarity, right? Or else all this, we want Bitcoin. We want Bitcoin. We want to allocate 5%. And BlackRock coming out and saying, well, then why don't they just go out and buy it? It's been available for years. So,
well, and then on top of that, with the second point, it will have a direct correlation, right? So your second point is that you have an option as an institution to get exposure to Bitcoin, and right now your exposure is limited to futures and publicly traded companies that have exposure as well, whether it's a mining company or by proxy or by MicroStrategy. And why go through that avenue when you can just buy the underlying asset? That makes the most sense. But the thing is that all of these companies are going to benefit by a surplus in liquidity, surplus in capital, a raise in the market price. And so if you're mining Bitcoin and you're currently mining each Bitcoin and its market price is 35,000, if it's at 70,000, 60,000, obviously the margin for your profits is up a ton. And so it's going to be a net positive for the miners anyway.
you're saying it's going to offset. You're saying
it's going to offset by a mile. Like if we're looking at
so you think the price
pendulum
appreciation is going to be so high that it'll offset people not buying directly to the mining?
Yes,
Okay.
because if you expand the web, expand the users, let's just say the market cap quadruples of crypto in general. You have the price of Bitcoin crossing new all-time highs. When did the miners expand? They expanded. They bought all of their mining, all their ASICs, when we were going through a bull market, right? And then they were just capitulated, just trying not to go out of business during the bear market. And so just imagine that tenfold when institutions come in. The ETF is here. You're hitting new all-time highs, crossing it. You're say Bitcoin 10x's over the next 6 years. It's anybody that has exposure to the underlying asset, like the miners, if they have the infrastructure to mine and everyone else is trying to play catch up, like they're set. They're set. There's no way, unless they mismanage funds or something, there's no way that the miners don't hit massive profits, get crazy company valuations. Now, it's gonna offset any bit of, well, we don't have as much investment from the stock market. I would argue that the opposite happens. Hey, let me diversify my portfolio. Let me get the underlying asset. Let me also get exposure to someone that is greatly benefiting from the price, like the miners. And maybe the miners' growth outpaces the growth of Bitcoin. Maybe you can say, hey, I can get exposure to Bitcoin, but I can also get exposure to a company that is massively profited off of Bitcoin, and I can expect, say, a 2x return on Bitcoin here, but I can expect a 3 or 4x return on the mining company because they're going to make a ton of money because the competition is scarce there.
That's an interesting rebuttal. I saw that thesis on a couple of accounts, and I just started thinking, and the idea you brought crossed my mind, but I don't know I haven't done enough in-depth research into how much money during bull markets has flowed into these mining companies, how it's affected them. We know hash rate and difficulty is continuously reaching all-time highs. So if you want a better chance of mining a block, you're going to have more hash power. And so companies right? These mining companies, they need money to go buy and upgrade their equipment to become more energy efficient, to buy more, plug more in, and have a better chance of producing the block rewards and winning the block reward. And so, what type of effect will it have? I don't know. I thought it was worth a conversation, but you do bring up a good point. Without an ETF, Bitcoin's price tops out 120K, 140K. With an ETF, Bitcoin's price tops out 250K, 300K.
Well, have the miners struggled during the bear market?
Yeah, well, we saw Core Scientific go under.
Yeah, exactly. So the miners have struggled. So obviously, you're going to have a direct and opposite effect if the markets are rallying. Yeah? And I think it's safe to assume that the markets will rally when we get the ETF.
Dude, Solana is pumping, bro. My God. It's at $45. $45. I want to say something, man. I want to say something. You know, when the Solana network was having their issues going down, of course, we said Solana's not reliable. It's too centralized. And then everything started happening. They fixed their issues. No downtime. Fire dancer. Continuing to make big partnerships. Breaking the barrier to entry. Making the user face exciting, usable. Bringing in the next wave of people. So we changed our thesis. And when Solana was at $8, $9, everyone was freaking out. We had people like Forrest on the show say, this is a great buy for Solana. And look at it now. We're at $45 from a low of $9 in a bear market. We've 4X'd. What is that, a 5X? We 5X'd in a bear market. A top 10 crypto project has 5X in a bear market. We do have news to share about Solana. They're having their Breakpoint event. I believe it's in Amsterdam. As we speak, I think it's winding down, though. I think today or tomorrow is the last day. We do have a clip about Fire Dancer. It is live on the testnet. But I wanted to share this first. So this is from CryptoRank. So these are upcoming IDOs, IEOs, and ICOs, right? And so this is sorted by the top amount of money raised. But so what I want to point to here is look at the category, Robin, right? So the highest is blockchain infrastructure. Then you have GameFi, 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 GameFi. So we're seeing money flowing to GameFi, right?
What is GameFi?
GameFi, like Axie Infinity, Gala.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I thought you were talking about a physical company.
No,
or blockchain.
So Blast Royale, Ultiverse.
Yeah, I got you.
So are people sleeping on the impact of the gaming sector in the next bull market? And what are some tokens that you feel like are at the forefront? Is it something like Gala? Is it something like Axie where they're focusing on one game? Do you have any insight you want to share with us?
I'm sorry, but I don't. Okay, this is how I look. And I'm a video game enthusiast at heart. I like to compete in tournaments. I'm big into video games. I just don't make me an argument on why it is necessary, required, or even hyper bullish on why a blockchain needs to create a video game. I'm asking you, David.
Well, with the integration, we talk about this on the show all the time. With the integration of blockchain and potentially NFTs, being able
you can create the game and then just do NFT. It would be like, hey, we're gonna make a video game, but we're gonna let you have in-game purchases. Like, that's fine. That's a good thing to have, but it's not necessary. It's not necessary. This is what I'm getting at. And I think that NFTs are coming to video games, and that is going to happen. But what I think is going to happen is that the NFTs, that feature is going to be put onto franchises that are well known, that are already developed. That I think that these tokens, these are tiny teams. Video games take years, 3, 4, 6, 10 years sometimes to build a video game.
And money.
With a massive
and
studio.
Money.
And you have these small little 5 to 100 person teams that are underfunded, that have a loose experience on creating video games, going out here and making video games. Now, if there's going to be one that's successful, it's going to be a top end project. And I would say like the likes of Gala, whoever Engine, I know
The FAO.
yeah. So it would be an absolute, in my opinion, would have to come from a major financially sound and large team with experience to do it. And even then, I find it extremely difficult for them to break that barrier of entry, because at the end of the day, you're competing against the likes of these giant studios that have thousands of employees. They have tons of titles under their belt, experience, also have the marketing. They can go into Walmart, they can plug into YouTube or whatever it is. They know how to market to children. They have all those access points, and that's who is going to be playing these games. If you want to take the numbers and say, well, there's so much, this amount of money in the video game ecosystem. If we got a certain percentage of it, if you want a piece of that pie, you need to compete directly with the biggest franchises. And the thing is at some point, if the second one game comes up and starts taking revenue from the big studios, they're going to be like, well, hey, they're making money. Like, what are they doing? They got an NFT. Cool. Let's run our NFTs.
I think Ox Machina brings up a good point. Play to earn is the key, right?
Yeah, it's a feature. It's a feature. You can sit here and say, "Hey,
is it available?"
Okay,
but is that feature available?
Okay, if you were to say to me, "Hey, we can make an iOS game and we can make tons of money. We can make so much money on iOS. Like, there's so many users on there. At the end of the day, you need to make a good game that people need to buy. And so the people that make the best game, that market it the best, that have the formula that keep people addicted to play the game, those companies are going to be the ones that are successful. And so if you were to say, hey, who do you think is more likely to be successful in this Mac iOS video game? Do you think it's going to be this small development team of 5 to 10 people, or do you think it's going to be this giant studio? Now, you can look at someone like Fortnite, right? They're a giant studio. Huge, right? You could say that they're one of the biggest studios out there. Yeah. But Fortnite started as a very small, independent studio, tiny team. Expectations were that it was going to have a handful of users, whatever it was. It grew into what it was. So to sit here and say that there's no chance is you can look at history and you're proven wrong.
Are you telling Jimmy to sell all his Gala?
No, I think if you're going to invest, if you're going to have exposure to GameFi, as you say, if you're going to have exposure, me personally, I would just keep to the top projects. It would probably be Gala, and that's it. And I like that Gala has a portfolio. Now, and this is just me. Like, you don't need to think like me. I'm just here to give you my perspective. I don't have any exposure to gaming. I personally think that gaming is very far away. I think even with the likes of Gala, I think for them to have a competitive game that is played internationally, that is not played by gaming nerds, I think that for mass adoption, I think we're probably 6 to 8 years away. And for me, I can look
6 to 8 years.
But is
give me one game off the top of my head.
Axie Infinity wasn't a good game, but people play because they can make money.
But it was the people that played it were the crypto people.
Were people to making money like in the Philippines? The people that need to make money somehow.
If Pokemon, for example, if the Pokemon franchise integrated NFTs, it would instantaneously dwarf any other project that comes up. And that Axie Infinity was somewhat of a play on Pokemon, right? Now, that's just how I approach it. It's just that the gaming sector and blockchain is so far away from being a major contender that why waste my investment in it right now when I can just put it in Ethereum, or I can put it in these other layer ones, these other projects, and the gains are going to be, those gains are pretty secure, right? Do you think, okay, let me ask you a question. If the gaming franchises, if there's no like blockbuster game, do you think GameFi rips out of control like it did before? If there's no blockbuster game that stands out,
Okay.
So you're already hesitant on your answer. So you're hesitant on your answer. So you're already doubting. So if there's no blockbuster game, so who is going to play? Like if for me, blockbuster game is kids, friends, family. I go to work. People are talking about some game. I turn on YouTube. Somebody has no exposure to crypto is reviewing a game, and it's in demand. They got new downloadable content. There is a buzz for it outside the crypto community. That for me is blockbuster. Now, at the same time, if you already take your blockbuster game that's already out, your franchise, your Call of Duty, your Warzone, your Roblox, whatever it is, your Minecraft, and then at some point, some CEO is like, "Hey, man, we can actually make a lot of money if we just do NFTs." If they just do that, any one of the massive companies out there, the list of 25, 50, Overwatch, I don't know, Overwatch, any of these massive franchises, if they decide to step into the ring with NFTs, instantaneously, they are the leader by a mile, 10 miles, 15 miles. And you know who I would like to get exposure to? The partnerships that provide that rail, right? Is it Polygon? Will it be Engine? Will it be, I don't know. That's where I think the money is. And so for me, I'd pay more close attention to the partnerships of these big studios. That's probably where the money's going to be, my opinion. Now, I think that there is an avenue, there is a space for these upcoming studios that are blockchain related to step into the ring. But I think it's going to be a hard fight, and it's going to take a while. I haven't seen anything Big Time looked pretty good, but there's another 100 games that look just like Big Time that are getting no love from the community.
So unless there's a huge hit game that transcends the crypto space, or unless someone like Activision or whatever decides to use Polygon and do NFTs, then that by proxy, that's how you would get exposure to GameFi. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, I think
okay, that's a fair point.
I think it's more likely. How about this? I think it's more likely that if we started a sports betting app, I think it's more likely if you're investing in sports betting apps to not invest in us and to say, and Caesars is like, hey, we're going to launch a sports betting app. Let's just rewind the clock because they already have one. But say 7 years ago, they didn't have a sports betting app. And hey, sports betting is legal. Let's get into sports betting. And you're a company, like, are you? Now, there's going to be more upside and more likelihood to get big returns from a small little independent company making an app that has no experience in sports betting. But we do understand who's going to get the lion's share of this industry. It's going to be MGM and Caesars. Is no different when you're saying who's going to make the most money from purchases in a video game. Is it going to be the giant video games or some small blockchain with 10 people that we never heard of? That never made any games.
To your point, I guess, that I'll play Flappy Bird all day long if I can make $100. I think to Rob's point, you're kind of making it as far as that is a game that is already out there. It's already got the recognition. And if it's integrated with play to earn versus a brand new game launched by a blockchain centric project like a Gala, who's going to need the marketing, who's going to need people to download and play. Yeah,
there will be some small companies that break barriers down. And will it be a blockchain? I think there's a decent chance to it. And the thing about blockchain is that you can raise a ton of money. So I can say, hey, I'm starting a gaming blockchain here. We're going to develop this. These are people that are developing it. We could raise $100 million pretty quick, right? We see how quickly you can raise money in blockchain.
Yeah.
And so it's probably easier.
Sam's not here anymore.
But it's easier to raise money. It's easier to raise $100 million in blockchain in an instant than it is through the traditional ways. And so I think that there is a decent likelihood that down the road somebody emerges because, hey, you can create a studio and a team pretty damn quickly with crypto money. And so that can't be discounted. I'm not trying to be a 100% hater. I'm just saying that you gave me 8 different GameFi tokens and asked me like, what do I'm bullish on? None of them.
You're like a 95%.
I'm bullish on none of them. It would be like telling me, hey, which NFT projects are you bullish on during the last bull market? And I kept pooping on all of them. I'm like, there might be a couple that come out, but yeah, I mean, this market's not developed yet.
Robin, why don't you mispronounce some names?
You know, I haven't seen too many new people here. We only got less than 100 viewers. I'm not really sure what's going on there. 80 likes though.
Everyone's
And
watching Jerome Powell.
oh yeah. So
entertaining.
there
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
so entertaining. Guys, he's saying, like, hold on, but put the camera on split.
But anyways, we got
He's saying- hold on, real
Sir
quick.
Gabe, Scott
saying the
Watson,
same-
and Bam
he's
Bam.
saying the same-
Hola! I'm a dork as well.
He's saying the same thing. Job market's, labor market's tight, and this is tight. Anyways, also I
Okay.
saw a new name in here as well. It's GQQ5645. Whatever. Rob, what are the markets looking like?
All right, so taking a look, you do got Bitcoin up at 34,500.
And we're tanking, dude.
So pretty flat on the day. It is up. Not much. Anyways, same spot we were yesterday. Taking a look and the weekly, not much movement there. But when you zoom out to the monthly, you can see the giant move that we've had all the way from 25,000 up to basically 35,000. So $10,000 move, which is massive. And this is, I think we're turning in the right direction, right?
Somebody asking if you can pull the SafeMoon chart.
Yeah, are you buying the dip or no?
No, definitely not. Ether right at 1,800.
Are you surprised, Rob?
Biggest gainer.
Rob, are you surprised ETH hasn't rallied to 2K?
It's got a big market cap. I mean,
So does Bitcoin.
yeah, well, I know that's what I'm saying.
So does Solana.
But Ethereum has moved with Bitcoin. It was at 16,000
Has it?
or 1,600, and so yeah, look at the 1 month.
Yeah. Bitcoin looked like a big cliff.
So we went from
This
15.5,
one looks like a sand dune.
so 15.5 up to 1,800. So, and then if you look at the Bitcoin, its movement on Bitcoin, it's
Yeah.
kinda,
Kind of mirroring.
it's moved in tandem. I don't think it. You can make an argument that Bitcoin is out. You know, you can see here that the price was 27,000 versus 1,600, and then now a month later, it's outperformed ETH, but not by much. I would say 1%, 2%, something like that. But the biggest gainer though is Solana. That is quite surprising.
Rip.
That something in the top 10 is the biggest mover out of the top 100 projects, and by a landslide, not even close. The next one would be Near Protocol, up 16%. So about 25% run up here from Solana. Taking a look, also injected a lot of green though. So the alts are rallying pretty hard.
China
And
coins down.
so this is this indicative of the altcoin season? This is what we generally see when Bitcoin consolidates, trades sideways, and we've been at I think like 2 weeks now with Bitcoin's price at the $34,000 range there, and so now maybe people are taking profits and pouring it into altcoins, or at least you're having a little bit more faith in the direction of the market, and they're saying, "Hey, let me get exposure to some of these altcoins now because I feel confident that the market's not going to tank out." Right? I don't know. What do you think?
I
Think
think
there's more because you can also look Fear and Greed Index 72. So I think that people were hesitant on altcoins because they didn't know if it was going to spill off more.
people are feeling good, man.
Yeah. So,
Should they be feeling good, or should there be? So we know Forrest's thesis is, hey, we're gonna get a macro downfall or a economic crash back in 2024, and that should bring crypto down. That's kind of his thesis. Are you kind of sharing the same sentiment there? or-
yeah, I think it make.
Okay. Guys, let's check in
Jerome
on
Powell stuff.
let's check in on JP real quick. JP, how you doing, man?
Steve Leisman, CNBC.
Mr. Chairman, I guess I had assumed that there was a tightening bias in the committee. You say in the statement you're looking to assess the appropriate stance of monetary policy, the extent to which you may need to hike additionally. You didn't say earlier that you were sufficiently restrictive. There were forecasts for 2 rate hikes among most members of the committee. But then you just said that, we haven't made a determination. Would you say the bias right now is neutral, that there is no disposition to hike again, and that the committee largely has moved off of this forecast for 2 hikes? Or for, I'm sorry, 1 additional hike?
I think you're talking about 1 additional.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say that at all. I would say, the language, looking at it here, in determining the extent of additional policy firming that may be appropriate to return inflation 2% over time. That's the question we're asking.
So is it right to think of that as a hiking bias is still in the committee?
I'm sorry,
here?
guys, but he's just going to say the same shit, okay? Until we see numbers change drastically, CPI goes back up to 6%, jobs numbers come out where unemployment rate's at 4%, then sure, but he's just going to say the same thing over and over again, so this is boring. What's not boring, though, is my friend Solana. How you doing, Solana? Solana breaks multi-month trend as fire dancer. Robin, let's see your fire dancer. As fire dancer hits the testnet. So big milestone for the Solana Foundation, and all the developers. So Fire Dancer has been launched on the Solana testnet. This new validator client designed for the Solana blockchain promises to significantly improve the scalability of the network, diminish latency times, and overall enhance network performance. Ultimately, Fire Dancer aims to scale Solana to 1 million TPS, also known as transactions per second. Now, let's listen in to this gentleman here, I forgot his name, from the Solana Foundation, how he talks about Fire Dancer and the capabilities.
Early demos from the Fire Dancer team have showed the ability to process over 1 million transactions per second, per tile, per CPU core. On a multi-core environment, you are handling multiple gigabits per second of inbound traffic on a single core, right? Some people run 16-core machines. Some people run 32-core machines. The team was able to show, just using 4 cores to handle incoming transactions, practically maxing out a 25 gigabit link, right?
You're a computer nerd, Rob. You, and I don't mean that in a negative way. You put together computers, the cores and the processing chips and stuff. So if per core, we're getting
the most of, so you're like kind of entry level. I would say like your entry level like modern Intel chip, and usually you'll have 8 to 16 cores. And then your high end ones will have 32 to 64 cores. But you can get the cheaper ones like the 4-core Intel. Those are the ones that are usually like $299 or
I know this is a little technical.
$199.
I know it's technical, but how important is it for you to be able to download the Fire Dancer client, right, the validator client, and not have to go spend tons of money on hardware, and you can just do it with a standard core processing unit computer and be able to run a validator node and do up to 1 million TPS?
I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure how it works under the hood, right? And so I can kind of speculate. I understand, when he says like cores, for example, what that would mean for hardware to run, and it's pretty dirt cheap. But this isn't nothing new. We see that you can validate different layer ones with the Raspberry Pi. Which is like a $100 little computer board, basically. Very, very cheap computer, basically. But for me, what I take away from the Fire Dancer is that this is all done on the layer 1. And so where we've seen scaling solutions through competitors, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Cardano, the likes of, you name it, most of it is done through ZK rollups for scaling and throughput. It's usually done through ZK rollups, or it's done through a layer 2, like Lightning Network or like the Hydra or something like that. And those are then batched and processed on chain. Now, what Fire Dancer, what makes this unique, what makes it stand out, is the fact that this is all done on chain. Now, whether or not it actually works and whether or not it's, a lot of times they like to talk about TPS and they're just taking very basic transactions that don't involve data or smart contracts to say, hey, we can send and receive 1,000 transactions just back and forth to one address. Like that's cool, but then you got to look at it from a real world practicality when, hey, we're minting NFTs, you got finances that have smart contracts with contingencies all tied into them. And how does that work? Is that the same? That I don't know, but I am excited. And it seems like the community and Solana community is also excited with Fire Dancer. And I think the thing to hang your hat on is that it's all done on the layer 1.
Yeah.
chain.
Someone brought up a good point. They said, let's see how it deals with DDoS attacks. I agree. Let me give some credit here. Ox Machina, man, you're on a roll today, bro. I hope you're a bro or a lady, bro. Whoever you are. That's why we love when you guys are engaged and talking, because you guys bring up some excellent points. We're all a team here. Us, you guys, our community, Sin City Crypto, we're all a team. And so that's why we continuously tell you guys, stay active in the chat. And so you brought up some great points today, Ox Machina. So can we get a round of applause for my friend? You did. Okay, sorry. It's a little hard of hearing today. I do have a Solana chart pulled up here, guys. And what I always say on the show, never get on a high-speed moving train, right? You want to wait till it gets to the next stop. Well, you want some exposure to Solana because let's just say after breakpoint, you're convinced. Hey, all right, Solana, they've convinced me. It's going to be a top project. I want to invest, but obviously I don't want to get it now. Well, where can you get into? I did a Fibonacci trend retracement here. We took the high we hit back here in July of this year down to the low and up to the latest move. And a level I'm going to be looking at right here where we saw a huge resistance right at around 37 to $38. And that coincides exactly, it coincides exactly with the 618 level on this retracement. And so that is an area where I would be looking at a possible retracement if you want to get back into Solana, that $37 to $38 mark. Nothing goes up and to the right forever. There are some pullbacks, which is healthy for a move. You want to see pullbacks. You don't want to see the 15-day in a row moonshot. You want to see pullback. It's just the ebbs and flows of the market. So $37 to $38, that is where I would be looking at if you're looking to accumulate some Solana, but just don't want the exposure now with Solana ripping up. Any thoughts on your thesis on Solana moving forward, the Fire Dancer, or any of the chart here that we kind of went over?
No, I think I still think we're going to probably get a pullback on Solana.
Of course.
I don't know if you're looking to just do a chunk buy and you're just kind of feeling euphoric. Would probably wait for it to pull back. I think $38, $35 probably be some good point.
Rob, in the next 5-year time horizon, is a $38 Solana buy? Would that be a good? I don't want to say good investment.
I mean, if you're in the DCA mindset, then sure. I mean, I think that Solana's due to get at least sniff the previous all-time highs, which would be 5x, 5 to 6x from where we're at now.
Smells like a bull market.
And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Do have some big news here as well, guys. PayPal gets the green light to operate in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and everyone else that's in the UK, which includes Scotland and Ireland and all that fun stuff. Anyways, PayPal is registered to offer crypto asset activities in Britain. While the crypto market in Britain awaits its first set of rules, companies that want to offer crypto assets must show the FCA that they have sufficient safeguards against them being used for laundering money or financing terrorism. I said financing because that's how Gary Gensler says it.
Is it really?
Yes. Rob, we know PayPal's a giant, right? The largest fintech company in the world, 500 million users. No, UK is a pretty big market. Not as big as China or the US or Japan, but it's pretty damn big. What are your thoughts on this? Do you foresee... Okay, so we don't know what exactly companies need to do to satisfy the FCA in the UK, right? It could be set up to where it's really leaning towards the traditional companies who are in fintech, who have these licenses, these money transmitter licenses, and they're essentially giving them a leg up Or do you think this is just PayPal sees an opportunity? They're expanding. What are your general thoughts on this? What role do you think PayPal will have moving forward in terms of crypto adoption and moving the space forward?
Well, PayPal itself is progressive payments in fintech. And I think that anyone that's in fintech, developer, somebody that's, looks at how finance moves in modern age, knows that there's going to be a seat at the table for crypto. How big of a seat is it going to be? Who knows? But there's definitely a market there, and there's money to be made. And if you hang your hat on, hey, we're a progressive payments system, it's a no-brainer. And so they're gonna set up shop in the UK. I'm just curious if PayPal ends up being more dominant on crypto than it does traditional finance. Because right now, like 98%, 99%.
It kind of looks like it's heading that way.
99%, I would say 99%.
They got their own stable
I don't
coin
know
now.
the numbers, but it has to be something around that range. I could confidently say that probably 99% of their business comes from traditional money.
Oh.
Bank accounts, ACH, wire transfers, the settlement of credit cards from merchants to, regular retail. That's their bread and butter. But I gotta, just kind of think forward. Like, will there be a day where PayPal relies on crypto more than it does traditional finance? Because if what we think the financial landscape is going to look like in the future, say 10 years from now, where everyone is using crypto, whether they know it or not, perhaps they're just sending money from their bank account to a friend, and little do they know it's all done on the blockchain. I think that everybody's going to have an exposure to crypto within 10 years. And in the same way, we don't know how Zelle works. We don't know how Cash App works. We don't know the underlying technology. We don't know what
People are comfortable with what they know.
Yeah. But the thing is, you don't need to know how the technology works. You just need to know that it works. You just need to know, hey, my $100 I sent you. Did you get it? Cool. Awesome. Okay. Do you need to know that it got verified this many times on the chain? No. But hey, I sent it. Did you get it? I got it. Cool. Awesome. Did it get done on the blockchain? Yes. Now, for the institutions, was that faster and cheaper for them? I think it will be. I think crypto answers that solution. And so if that ends up being faster and cheaper, the end user has no idea that they're using blockchain. That's the space that we're going to. That's literally what we're about.
I mean, PayPal did launch their own stablecoin too, so I might want to add that as well. I also might want to thank our sponsor yet again, Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how they can help your business grow, maximize your networking, IT, and cybersecurity, visit BlueWireTech.com or click the link in the description of this video. Also, guys, go follow us on Twitter at SinCityCrypto1, and make sure, if you're not subscribed, to subscribe to the channel. With that being said, Rocco, like Solana, just moonshot. No messing around, just like shot to the moon. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure to come back tomorrow, same place, same time. On behalf of all of us here at Sin Crypto, we love you guys.
See you guys.
Sin City Crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I spit the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO